Dying Light. Could this possibly be the ultimate zombie game, with its massive open world, parkour free running movement and an interesting story to work through? Dying Light could well be that perfect zombie game, like an open world Resident Evil, but with certain caveats that mean, unfortunately, it's not quite perfect. Let's start with the graphics. I think that this game looks fantastic. The environment feels right. It's a city that's been cut off from the rest of the world, while that outside world tries to figure out what to do with the zombie virus problem. In a game that expects you to climb, you'd want to be rewarded with a great view when you do get to the top of buildings, and Dying Light delivers every time. Zombies are good, as do the multitude of non-player characters that populate the game, and while we're on the subject of NPCs, the voice acting is solid too. The ambient sounds and music keep you immersed in the game, with things getting suitably dramatic as the going gets tough. Gameplay wise, Dying Light includes plenty of fetch quests, but don't be disappointed that these might be boring, because a core mechanic of this game is how you level up your movement and fighting skills. As you play, you get points to spend on various aspects of your character, which means that at the start of the game you can barely jump up and onto ledges and rooftops, and you've got to carefully make your way around groups of zombies. But give it a couple of hours and you'll be merrily jumping from rooftop to rooftop, and instead of running past zombies, you'll be vaulting over the top of them. You'll start to become invested in the characters around you. You'll realise that your mission, to retrieve a file about the virus from somewhere inside the city, could be at odds with your desire to help the people around you, and a dawning realisation that your controllers do not care at all about the people trapped in the city. The premise of the story is just that. You've parachuted in on a secret mission. You're then wounded and taken in by a group of survivors in the tower who need something called Antizin, a medicine that slows down the onset of the zombie virus but doesn't completely stop it. The problem is that the airdrops of Antizin are being intercepted by a local criminal warlord who has the city under his iron grip, and also apparently has the file that you've been sent in to retrieve. My criticisms, which are more of an, I guess you'd say, an expectation thing, would be that although this game has plenty of zombies in it, it's not really about them. It's about the survivors and how they're fighting with each other over what's left of the city and its resources, whereas you might be expecting more of a shooter. But in Dying Light, weapons are scarce and melee combat is king against zombies, which is unusual for the first-person genre. There's also plenty of crafting, so you've always got to be gathering resources or looking for boxes or visiting the quartermaster and finding blueprints. I'm used to more vanilla type shooters, and it took me a while to get used to all this crafting, but it's pretty easy and it's fairly okay to do. The more you play Dying Light, the better it gets, and although I'm only a few hours in, I know I'll be playing through the whole of the game and the missions that are including in the expansion, the following, over the next several months, and rather unusually for such an old game, the developers are releasing more free content all the time. Dying Light, the following Enhanced Edition. Absolutely worth buying cheap. Okay, that's done from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.